In some societies, hermaphrodites are accepted as the bridge between genders and are praised for filling both roles, but the underlying confusion remains as to how third genders fit into society. The spiritual aspect of a genderless hermaphrodite is that they have knowledge and understanding of two genders. The coexistence of two genders in a person is what makes their gender roles unique. A man who feels inclined to be a woman and do the work of a woman does not make him strange but extraordinary. Hermaphrodite roles in society, such as the Native American Bardash, Indian Hijra, and Chinese eunuch, are specialized and fill roles that neither a man nor a woman can do. Although third genders hold specific positions in society, accepting them as an alternative person is complicated. In the Native American and Indian cultures, third genders are accepted as a spiritual link between people and God. Third genders are regarded as a positive and different, making them spiritual beings. Bardash Indians were men personifying the lives of women. Bardash were usually respected in their craft and of high rank in the Native American cultures because of their inclination to become the opposite sex. They were supernatural couriers who carried the prayers of the villagers to the rainmakers of the six directions: north, east, south, west, up, and down. Bardash are so highly valued because they are the link between both sexes and can empathize with both men and women. Like the Bardash, the Hijra of India are men who function as women and also fill a gender gap. Hijras serve as performers on special occasions, like the birth of a firstborn son and the blessing of a bride and groom, giving to him what she herself does not possess, the power of creating new life, of having many sons, and of carrying on the continuity of his family line. The Hijra gives back through blessing what she lacks. Although Hijra are commonly used on these occasions, sometimes a family will not let the Hijra bless the bride for fear that she may cause the bride to become infertile. Hermaphrodites typically have unique jobs that correlate with their third gender. Third genders contribute differently to cultural roles because they have something different to offer from men or women who assume conventional sexual roles. Hermaphrodites create a gender bridge that makes it possible to take on male and female roles. Chinese eunuchs are castrated males who, because of their purity, can serve and live with imperial women. The emperor allowed only sexless males to serve the imperial presence. The ladies of this royal family and his thousands of concubines all amassed together in the great wall within, behind forbidden palace doors. Because eunuchs were castrated and posed no sexual threat to either women or men, they were highly valued as servants in the imperial palace. Another culture that values third genders are the Native American Zunis. Their Yamana take the job of the opposite sex. The women of the family are inclined to look upon him with favor, since it means that he will remain a member of the household and do almost double the work of a woman, who necessarily ceases at time from her labors at the mill and other duties to bear children and to look after the little ones. But the Yama is ever ready for service and is expected to perform the hardest labors of the female department. Yamana men are esteemed workers because they have more physical strength than women and are respected in the work that they do. Homosexuality was a common factor among Hijra and Bardash. Homosexual prostitution was a large part of the Hijra community in India. Hijras are well aware that they have only a tenuous hold on legitimacy in Indian society, and that this hold is compromised by even covertly engaging sexual relations and practicing prostitution. Although society frowns upon homosexual prostitution, it is a large part of the Hijra's economic wealth. Homosexuality has historically been a part of many cultures, along with prostitution, and the Hijra are promiscuous and tempting to homosexual, non-Hijra men. The idea of third gender is something that is difficult for people to comprehend. Hermaphrodites consist of two extremes, men and women as one. People always fall into one of these categories, and it is how they identify themselves and others. Doctors believe that quality of life is only possible for individuals who conform to male or female sex and gender. Hermaphrodites do not fall into either category, and in some cases, their position in society is called different and genetically flawed. The eunuch of Asia were highly valued servants to the imperial palace because of their castration and purity. Although they were prized and respected in the imperial palace, the eunuch were not fully accepted because they were not a conventional person. but they were prohibited from ascending the altar of the main deity, as were cripples, deformed persons, those lacking an eye, limb, or any body part, and menstruating females. Indian Hijra, like the eunuch, are also a necessity to their society. The eunuch are vital servants to the imperial court, and the Hijra are essential for the blessings of births and marriages. Indian people find humor in the promiscuous and comedic performances the Hijra offer, and rely on Hijra for the blessing of fertile men. Although the Hijra hold a role in society, their discrepancy to neither a man nor woman prevents them from being completely accepted. Although Hijras have an auspicious presence, they also have an inauspicious potential. The sexual ambiguity of the Hijra as impotent men eunuchs represents a loss of fertility, and this undoubtedly is the major cause of fear that they inspire. Masculinity and fertility is important in the Indian culture, and Hijras contradict both values. The Hijra do not succumb to these core beliefs. Thus, the stout middle-class matrons, who are so amused by the Hijra's performances, and who may even pity them as tragic, hermaphroditic figures, also have an underlying anxiety about them. Third gender's identity correlates to their role in society. A hermaphrodite's identity is difficult to describe because of the thin line drawn between men and women. Third gender's identity in society is not categorized with male, female, craftsman, hunter, etc. Hermaphrodites' roles in society are constructed around their third gender. Although in some cultures hermaphrodites are accepted, they are not always treated similarly to the rest of the community, whether it be positive or negative.